Frequently ignored traffic laws and road regulations, Part 1. This video covers a variety of important traffic laws that all drivers should be aware of, even if they may not be as regularly applicable as speed limits, right-of-way restrictions, and other laws you must follow on a daily basis. You could unintentionally violate a traffic law without even being aware of it if you are not familiar with the regulations in your state about leaving children unattended in a car, transporting passengers in trailers, or how much goods you are allowed to carry. Leaving kids in a vehicle. There is no federal law specifying the minimum age of a child who can be left in an unattended car or the conditions under which it is acceptable. Drivers need to be aware that leaving an unattended youngster in a vehicle is risky and is thus prohibited in many states. A child cannot be left in a moving car for more than 5 or 10 minutes in some jurisdictions, but it is prohibited in other ones. In different parts of the United States, a kid may not be left in an unsupervised vehicle until a different age. Most legal provisions concern children less than 6. For information relevant to your area, consult the DMV website and the Child Passenger Laws section of your state's own driving manual. Anyone in charge of a child who is found to have broken the legislation regarding unaccompanied minors in automobiles will be fined. You could face a criminal trial if your activities cause the child to be in any danger or suffer harm. The following are a few instances of unsupervised children in automobiles statutes from various states in the U.S. In California, children under the age of 6 may never be left alone in a moving vehicle unless they are being watched over by an adult who is at least 12 years old. Illinois, children under the age of 5 may not be left in a moving vehicle unattended for more than 10 minutes unless they are being watched by an adult who is at least 14 years old. In Maryland, it is against the law to leave young children alone in a closed vehicle for any period of time unless they are being watched over by an adult who is at least 13 years old. Texas prohibits leaving young children in a car unsupervised for longer than 5 minutes. There is no provision for older children to supervise. Other states, such as Missouri, Michigan, and Kentucky, do not have laws that expressly forbid leaving kids in cars. If the child is endangered in any way, it is not allowed. For illustration, if the environment poses a serious threat to the child's safety, for example extreme heat or cold, you either left the keys in the ignition or the car's engine is running. The car is in an unsafe location or is parked in an unsafe position. Always remember to verify your state's regulations regarding unattended children, and never ever leave a child in a car if doing so puts them in danger. Loading your vehicle. Certain states have regulations that are specific to size restrictions for what a truck can transport, relative to the size of the vehicle. How cargo must be protected during transportation. In California, for instance, it is illegal to carry anything inside or on top of a car that extends beyond the fenders on the left or the right by more than 6 inches. To ensure that you do not inadvertently break the law by acting in a way you think is safe, it is crucial to check out loading in your state's driving manual. Driving any vehicle that is overcrowded or laden in such a way that you cannot drive safely would be against the law, regardless of whether your state has rules particularly governing cargo or not. Blocking the driver's line of sight. If any cargo or passengers are obstructing the driver's view of the road, a vehicle is said to be laden so that it cannot be driven safely. Vehicles cannot be so fully occupied with people or things that the driver cannot see well enough to control the vehicle. Most states have some sort of application for this statute. A requirement that is found in many states is that cargo cannot impair the driver's ability to manage the vehicle. For instance, it would be illegal to place a passenger or object in the way that prevents the driver from quickly reaching the gear stick. Caravan-related driving. In general, drivers are not allowed to participate in motorcades or caravans because they risk leaving insufficient distance between their vehicles. According to Georgian legislation, drivers of trucks and vehicles pulling trailers must give enough area between their vehicles and other comparable ones so that other road users have room to pass. Since it is frequently impossible to allow an overtaking gap between vehicles when driving on business and residential highways, this particular legislation only applies when driving outside of business or residential districts. Check your driver's manual to see if your state has a law that is comparable to the one described above about caravans. Additionally, any trailers that are being hauled by automobiles must fit within a specified size restriction. Trailers wider than 8 feet, 6 inches are not permitted to travel on Georgian highways. Trailers carrying passengers. The majority of states forbid passengers from traveling in any trailer that is drawn by a vehicle. as passengers would not have access to officially approved restraints like seatbelts. Riding in a trailer is against the law and risky. Sometimes there are exceptions to these laws. On farmland or private property, for example, it can be acceptable to travel in a trailer. The rules governing people traveling in recreational campers and similar trailers vary greatly from state to state. Travel trailers, truck campers, and fifth-wheel trailers are frequently distinguished from one another. Before transporting passengers, it is best to confirm these regulations with the relevant state body.